Alright, well thank you for joining me on this video. On this video we're going to show you how you can increase your service sales at the front counter before the inspection. It's a very important distinction there. You see, the majority of shops in North America provide the same service experience. And it goes along like this. As a vehicle owner, I bring my vehicle into the shop to get an oil change or a tire rotation, and I bring it to the shop, and then they proceed to bring it in the bay and do the safety inspection. And then they come back after that inspection and they tell me, hey, we found $500, $1,000, $1,500 or even more worth of work that needs to be done to my vehicle. It immediately puts me into a state of shock. And I'm telling you, it does that for most of your customers. Even the ones that love you still don't like the inspection process. I mean, they like that you're looking after them and you're making sure that their vehicle is safe, but it's still that process, that anxiety of waiting for what are you going to find. I tend to compare it to going to the dentist, right? You've got a toothache, it's been bothering you for a while. You know you got to go to the dentist, but you dread it. You really are not looking forward to it, because when you're dealing with tooth pain like that, you're worried that the inevitable will be that they're telling you they're going to have to drill a tooth, right? Do a root canal, and then it's going to cost you a lot of money and pain. So you really are not looking forward to that. So what we want to do is try and reduce that experience as much as possible so that customers can enjoy coming to the shop, not having that anxiety or stress of the unknown. Now that's always going to happen, but if we can reduce it, it helps a lot, and a happier customer will spend more. We see it time and time again with all of our shops. So let me switch to my computer screen here, show you what we've got here, and explain to you how this works, all right? So what we're doing here, you can see this customer's vehicle and all of their service history, their maintenance history. And what we do is we take all the line items from your management system, we find them, and then we figure out which service category they belong to. We automatically put in there for you. There's no extra data entry required. No extra work for you in that regard. We then take each service and we track it by the miles per day that that vehicle drives or the time that passes to tell the customer what's going on with their vehicle, to give them a report card, if you will, of how their vehicle is doing. And this is really good, again, because what it does is it helps set the expectation for the inspection instead of just surprising them with what you find. All right? So let me get into this report, tell you how we present it, because that's really important, and how it works to generate more revenue for you. So I always suggest we start with the blue, right? Blue means we've done this before in the past, and it's not due yet. All right, so this is the good news. You know, as shops, we tend to be the bad news bearers. We come in and we tell all the bad things that they need to do. Let's give them some good news. You know what? We're looking through our system. We see you done those spark plugs before, and they've got about 7,000 more miles left in them. They don't need to be done yet. Maybe the next visit or two, we should be looking at doing that. Your coolant service, you've done that in the past. You've got about 48,000 miles or 29 more months left of life in that. That's way off in the distance. You don't even need to worry about that right now. Same thing with that water pump, 68,000 miles, and so on. We're really helping them say, hey, you've done a great job maintaining your vehicle. It's going to help give you more years of life out of it if you keep it up. And we're helping them understand that we have a process that ensures that they'll never buy a service before it's actually due. You're going to help them squeeze every mile out of every service, which is going to help build the most affordable maintenance plan that money can buy. You know, I hope you took notes of what I said there. It's really important, those three items. If you need to, go ahead and rewind, listen to them again, and take note. These are important things to say to your customer. So again, we've shown them now, hey, here's what you don't need. Here's the good news. Now we can get into the stuff that's in the red. And what the red means, and it's in the Do Now section, it means that your shop has done this service before and it's now past due by miles or time. Again, we're aging by the miles per day that the vehicle drives, right? So we can say that cabin filter was done in the past. It's now past due quite a bit. The customer might already be here for their oil change, right? That battery is past due by its life cycle. Might still be, working for them, but it's going to die sometime, right? So you can help consult with them and say, look, here's some things you really need to pay attention to. We're going to do our inspection. We're probably going to find that these things are past due to verify. But I just wanted to let you know these are due and these are the costs of them. Now, this is an important part. There's nothing worse than asking for a sale but not telling your customer how much it's going to cost. Everything in the red should be pre-quoted. You should have that price ready for them to come in exactly with that price. Not, it'll be 20 or 40 bucks. No, that cabin air filter is going to be $25.97, and $15 labor, or, whatever your numbers are. Give them an exact price, what that's going to cost, so that they can say yes. And I always say what we're looking for here is pre-approval. We're looking at the data, and the data tells us that the services are needed. Okay? But we also want to do a real-life check. We want to do our inspection. And if we get under that hood and we see that that cabin filter is really clean and looks great, well, we're not going to do it. Right? There's no sense in doing something you don't need. So we are going to, we want to get pre-approval for these so we don't have to worry about calling you back and, trying to explain all this stuff over the phone. This is where all of our shops see a significant increase in their average repair order. There's a couple other reasons why this works, and I'm going to switch to camera here to explain this. When you are trying to reach out and do a sale over the phone, email, or text message, the chances of those sales decrease dramatically. You're now lost that personal connection. If I'm talking to you, face to face, I can read your body language. I can sense that you're paying attention. You're not distracted, right? The customer, by the time you're getting back to them after the inspection, they're back home and their kids are screaming at them in the background for their attention, or their coworkers are trying to get them for something, and you do not have 100% of their attention anymore. Face-to-face, front counter, you can counter the sales objections, the questions, everything face-to-face to help them understand what these services are and why they're important to them. And again, we see this time and time again. Shops that sell services this way increase their AROs by $50, $100, or even more, depending on the shop. So it's a really important process. So what we have our shops do is we tell them, you should be able to look at your calendar and see who's coming in tomorrow, print off their reports, and then pre-quote everything. Get it all ready so it's prepared. It's ready to go for the customer at the front counter, and they will buy the services in the red. Again, most shops we do this with, no problem. We see 90% sales rates. 90% of things in the red sell. And it, again, greatly increases the average repair orders. Now, there's a couple items in the gray. There's one here in the Do Now in gray, and there's some down below here. Basically, the ones that are up here in the gray, they're in the Do Now section. That's because that customer has been with the shop long enough that the service interval has passed. So basically, this customer has been with the shop for more than 60,000 miles. So we're saying, hey, this service should have been done by now. So it's going to help, again, maybe not pre-sell it or get it pre-approved, but we can only say, hey, we're going to inspect this. We'll probably find that it is due. We will let you know afterwards, right? So that's great to know about that. And then the services that down below here, if they're in the gray, means that that interval has not passed yet. Again, you'll want to inspect them, but they may not be due yet, depending if the customer's had them done at another shop or not. So that concludes our video on how to increase your sales at the front counter. Obviously, there's a lot more that goes into this, but I really just wanted to give you the nuts and the bolts of how this is going to transform your shop. Again, we see it time and time again. Shops that take this, they grab it by the horns, and they give it to every customer, every service visit. They see the average repair orders go up $50, $100, $150 or more because the process works. The customers enjoy it. So with that, we'll catch you on the next video.